unchanging in all the generations. Obi Minyamo. Oh, God's truth is unchanging in all the generations. Yeah. God's truth is unchanging in all the generations. Obi Minyamo. God's truth.
Hello, everybody. Hi, you're welcome to Let's Discuss, where we talk about practical matters that impact on our lives and faith. Today, we would be talking about a very important topic, and that topic is how do we fund our ministry and calling? How do you fund your ministry and calling? And how do we build sustainable kingdom ventures? Whether we like it or not, when you take a survey of a lot of people, a lot of Christians, I did a survey once, asked a few people, and I discovered that 10 out of 10 of them kept praying for anointing. Then when you ask them, what does your ministry need? They say money. So today we'll be looking into this topic, and I have a power-packed house today. I have Apostle Samuel Nuben. Everyone would know him. He's been around. He's the founder of the Macedonia Ministries Worldwide International, and where there is a focus on evangelism and taking the gospel to the grassroots. And by grassroots, I mean geographically difficult areas, economically challenged areas with a high percentage of adversity to the gospel. So we have him here. Welcome, Apostle.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we also have, my mentor as well, Pastor Dorcas. A lot of people would have seen her a few weeks now. So she is the pastor of Christ Way Baptist Church. She's a mentor, a prayer warrior, a woman of the word, someone with a passion, not just for souls and everything, but passion for ministries to grow and fulfill their true potential. You're welcome, Ma.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to start with you, Ma. I think in terms of, I want to start a bit differently before jumping to the solution. I wanted to ask why do ministries struggle in terms of funding, in terms of getting the required resources they need to get to the next level?
Thank you. That's a deep question. Why do we struggle to get the funding? I think if we are to be honest, one of the reasons is because, well, in the present day, if we're looking at it in the present day, because when we were growing up and when ministry started, I think people genuinely love God. People want to see the gospel, preached across the globe. And they not only gave their life, they gave everything, if that makes sense. But in our today, I think there's a lot of factors. And I think one of the factors is the fact that we just have half-baked believers, people who don't understand what we are talking about. People are here to just take from ministry, not necessarily giving. And that might be because what we are preaching today is not maybe deep enough to make people understand that the relationship they have for Christ is not only to come and sit down and enjoy the benefits, but is to, bring other people in. And the second thing I notice is maybe lack of structure, because we are in the age where a lot of ministry they don't have structures. So people who are, people who really want to see the work done, they don't know where to go. I don't want to give my money to just a person. I want to give it to the ministry, and I want to see it do what they said it would do. So the ministry kingdom generally, I mean, let's put it the churches or ministries or missions, they will lack integrity these days. And so when you want to raise fund, people have already, spoiled the places, people have messed up, and it's difficult to convince people that what you are going to use the money for is going to be the ministry. And also, like I said, we don't have structure. If you are asking me to fund your ministry and you are giving me your personal account, I probably won't, I won't answer you. So there are a lot of factors like that people don't understand. What is it we are using the money for? What the gospel means to people, and also
You are giving me your personal account. I
use
probably won't,
the
I
funding.
won't answer you.
That's what came to my mind.
Okay. Thank you, ma. You've listed a lot of very interesting things that.
But is everything okay with the live? Because I can't at the point I couldn't hear again.
Okay, I think towards the end the network just dipped, but it's still fine. Yeah.
Okay, maybe people should type if they are hearing or something like that.
Yeah. So please, everyone, type if you can hear clearly.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can hear you, sir.
I lost her audio. I couldn't hear what she was when she was about to conclude. But if you can hear me, that's fine.
Okay. Yes, we can hear you.
Is it my turn to contribute now? Because I can't hear you from here too.
Okay. Yeah. So people are saying they
I
can
don't
hear
really know
all of
what is the
us.
problem with the
Maybe check
audio.
your audio, sir. It could be something
Check
from
your
your
audio.
setting. Mm.
So I'll send you a message so that you can check your audio. Yeah, those are very interesting points that you have raised. Um, I also wanted to maybe just push forward. So I'll send you a message so that you can check your audio.
Okay.
Yeah, those are very interesting points that you have raised. Um, I also
I
wanted
think there is an echo
to
somewhere, brother Pastor Emmanuel. Where
yeah.
is it coming from?
Okay. Yeah, I think it's coming from his end. So I'll send him a message now just so that
Okay.
uh, let me just 1 minute. Okay. So I've sent the message. Yeah. One of the things that you mentioned, I just want to tease a bit, is that accountability and ownership. Because a lot of people would say, yeah, okay, so yes. A lot of people would say, I need money to set up the structure. And without having the money, it's difficult for me to even set up anything. Um, I wanted to ask the question because I do see a lot of people who have needs who say they need XYZ. Is the challenge more, is the needs genuine, or is it people not cutting their coat according to their cloth, or is it people trying to do something that they maybe shouldn't be doing now and later? So I just wanted to test that concept.
Yeah.
That is it true? Yeah.
I think um the needs are some needs are very genuine. But like I said, because we don't have structure, so maybe using an example will give us the um excuse me, insights into this. So as you know yourself, we do a lot of mission, we do a lot of, my husband is very passionate. We do a lot of this, even with a lot of our friends and colleagues who are, who are white British and all of that. But one thing we discovered was that one thing somebody said to me. So when we need to go to villages in Nigeria and all of that, and people, contributed stuff, and somebody then said, okay, let's book tickets to Nigeria. And somebody decided that, oh, let's book first class. Are you with me? That put some people off. You are going on a mission. You've got funding for a mission. Is the need for you now to go on a first class or business class for a mission? If you know what I mean, when you think of why we are in the mission. So that's where we are saying that the needs are genuine. But because there is no structure in some areas, there are no rules, every man is just to themselves, then that's where people frown at to say, hold on, we want you to go and support tell, but you are using money to go on business class, or you are using what is meant for the mission field, you are using it for your personal use. I think that's where we draw the line.
Thank you very much, Ma. So, Apostle, I know you've been heavily involved in evangelism in rural areas where the financial returns isn't it's not one of those areas people are pouring a lot of money into. I would just like to get your thoughts on on the topic as well.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, once again for connecting to this very, very important discussion. And while I was sitting and I was meditating about a lot of things, I had a lot of things to say, but I'll start with saying this, that I was in the midst of, in fact, my mission work was merely in the central aspect where the Muslims dominate. And I'm not saying it to raise them as a point of concern, it's just the geographical location. And that also helped me when I went to study a diploma in civil law for 2 years. One of the course was general jurisprudence of Islamic studies, and then another one was Islamic studies at the core. When I studied and see how they operate and some of the things that they have been able to put in place, and I remember that I was in Niger Republic, and I saw how they invested so much to empower their local missionaries. But in the Christendom, it's not the same, because Christians will tell you they have to be led before they can support your ministry. But in Islam, it is one of their pillars that you must support. So it is not the issue of being led. It's the issue of this is what you got to do. So why a lot of ministries today lack support, I'll tell you, very simple. The man at the pulpit is ignored. The sad reality of ministry today is you are doing so much to reach out, to expand the kingdom, and to create awareness. And people don't pay attention to it. But if you make any slightest error, the people will come after you. We have ignored the man in the pulpit. We don't care about how he survives. And so that has drastically affected the flow of the supernatural. Because the man in the pulpit has to think of how to fend for himself, fend for his family, fend for his personal bills. And then after doing all of that, you still expect him to receive and give you. It's not possible. I met a pastor who comes on a Sunday, he preached from daily devotional. That's because throughout the week, he has to figure out his life. He has to figure out his bills. As it is now, as a pastor, a lot of pastors are even afraid, even when they have a lot of money to do some kind of flashy things. Why are Christians comfortable with pastors that looks like men who are wretched. What is the issue with Christians? Not now. The question: why are Christians not happy when a pastor looks good? Why are Christians not happy when a pastor has to use a private jet? Why are Christians not happy? Or maybe they want us to return back to the era of church rat. So there's a lot of issues because number one, I've traveled. I remember what I've been through in the plane. I remember you want to catch up to the next flight to get to the city for a program, and then your flight is delayed for like 6 hours, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then with all the stress of luggage, you put in your luggage, and then when I got to Liberia 2 years ago for missions, the plane I took from Germany landed at this place at Togo. So from Togo, I connected a plane there to Monrovia. My bag was left in that plane. They didn't transfer my luggage to the plane that would take me to Monrovia, my final destination. So I arrived Liberia with only the handbag I had. All my laptop, all my bags, and everything was trapped in the plane. And I started communicating with them. I said, please, I need my bag. I started using one cloth to preach. It was the local natives in Monrovia that started going to the store and said, we need man of God to have a change of clothes. All my clothes and everything was trapped in the plane. And I got that back the final day of the program. That was when I got home. So I did not even wear any of the clothes. If I send you my picture, my photo gallery from Liberian missions, it looks as if I'm just wearing one cloth each day. And
Yeah.
then some of it that I had to change,
Sorry to
it was not. Yeah,
interrupt. I wanted
it's
to focus on the question because if I know, like I said, there's a lot of experiences you had,
okay.
but we want to make sure we, really punch the topic so that
Give
people
the
can,
punchline
so that people can really draw
to
the
understand.
inspiration. Because you're
Yeah.
right, there's a lot of frustration due to the misunderstanding. Yeah.
Yes. There's a lot of misunderstanding from the perspective of ministry, even though I know that the clergy has to be blamed too, because we also cause the problem when we are caring so much about how we look and how our family look and neglecting the needs of the church. So there's a lot of things. This discussion, if we want to have this discussion, is like a 2 month series to start from the beginning and then see where we missed it, and then now begin to reorient people that listen. And most of the people that they are going to have a lot of issues because number one, they've been led to sow into people who are not actually doing the work. They've been led to give to the wrong sources. And at the end of the day, they saw themselves as being duped. And the sad thing is that most of the Christians I've met who told me that they've been taken advantage of by the false or by this and that, the problem starts with you first. So if you want to, if we want to resolve the issue of resources in ministry, there is need for church, for the pew, to have compassion on their leaders. Jesus was able to do the things he was doing because there were women who devoted their resources to ensure that he had what he needed. As a man of God, if I stay with the Bible, if I stay with other reading materials from Monday till Saturday with serious prayer, and I come out on Sunday, you must experience the supernatural. So, in essence, the supernatural is gradually dying because there is not enough time to invest into this virtue, to develop this spiritual muscle, to give the people what they need. And
Yeah.
it is because the people are technically neglecting those who are supposed to be coordinating these things. And if you look at it,
Yeah.
when the church refuse to take care of their leaders, the
Hmm.
leaders will have no choice than to
Yeah.
go and look for how they can take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And so by that, they are not giving more attention. Apostle Peter could call all the other apostles and said, we will give ourselves to prayer and to the ministry of the world.
Yeah, thank you,
And
sir.
that's why you saw what was happening to them. But today, me
Yeah,
and you, we can't even say that.
yeah. So one of the things, so you've raised a lot of, very interesting points, and I want to throw this as well to, Pastor Dorcas as well, because you've raised a point about a lot of people being disappointed, a lot of people being disillusioned because they have given to the wrong thing. So because this discussion is two ways. It's for us to understand how to fund ministries, but also I believe there are some people who have their own ministries here. People, maybe the gospel music people, some evangelists. I know someone as well who is who takes care, mentors people, and things like that. So the question is, and I would ask you, is two ways. How does one identify the right ministries to, or the right bodies to sow into? And how does one test that what one is doing as well is the right thing? I don't know if that makes sense. That how does one test that what one is doing is genuine?
Thank you for that question. I think, to be honest, I believe we are talking from the perspective of a believer. And so, if you're a Christian and you need to sow into a ministry, I think the only test, number one, for me personally, is that I know Apostle said that we all talk about being led. I still believe in being led because there are loads of people that have needs, and we know there are fake among them. We know there are people that will take your money and then they will just go and be eating shawarma everywhere, But there are people who are genuinely in need. So how am I supposed to know? And I can't be everywhere at the same time, because what some people say is that if you are in the ministries and you see the way they operate, you see the way they fund, they support other ministry, you see the ministry growing, you see that the ministers, the pastors, the leaders, they are truthful. You can see that they are men and women of integrity. What they say, when they say go, it is go. When they say yes, it is their yes. Of course, you want to trust them. That element of trust, and you can see what they are doing. They are not hiding it, if that makes sense. But in the situation where people just come to you and say, oh, I've invited a man of God, I don't just sow. You cannot just carelessly sow, because the money I have, the money you have, or anybody have, we are also stewards of that resources as well. Even though we might say it's our money, it's not really our money, it's God's money. So before we go ahead and become, because I think Apostle also mentioned that some people have been taken advantage of. Some people have stupidly, like foolishly, just spread. They were just, without even, they will say, oh, because a man of God came to our church and was telling us stories about how he raised the dead, how he did that, and they begin to just say, okay, who can give 1,000 pounds? I'm sure you were there. It's happened to us before, where somebody came and said, if you give 1,000 pounds, I will give you a prophecy. I don't see that is being wise, if you know what I mean. But genuinely, we are all members of the kingdom. Money money is needed to run even this small, even this unbox praise that we think is online. You know how much you have sown into it. So when we connect with people in their ministry by prayer and by studying them, or we benefit from what they are doing as a ministry, I think then we can sow, because we know that we can see the results of our sowing. So that's where, for me as a Christian, you need to know what that ministry stands for. Don't just take people by what they say. In the past, it will be okay, but these days, I don't just say because somebody is saying something, you believe. You need to test their work. Okay, where is the place? Where is your website? Where is the work you have done before? And so on and so forth. So integrity as a Christian, and discernment of spirits as well. Because if we start to tell story of how they have frauded people, they have scammed people in the name of doing ministry, it will be alarming. And so we need to take caution. But above it all, when you have the love of God in your heart, you cannot see someone suffering beside you, whether even it be a minister or it be even a church member, and you are not going to do something about it. That's the way I will talk about
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Um, Apostle, I want to ask you a question. I know me and you have talked about this
Okay.
briefly.
Okay.
Um, and it's in line with what Pastor Dorcas has said. I know that for many years you've been doing evangelism. There are a lot of people doing evangelism in those areas without
Yep.
any support.
Yep.
And there are some people who will just come with big TV crews and camera
Yep.
and say they are doing evangelism. They will take picture, record very slick videos, and
Yeah.
then request money from people.
Yeah.
And they will then, so people will then believe that they are doing the work, whereas they are the people. So there are people who are really doing the work who don't have access to the funds, and
Yeah.
people who are not doing the work but know how to market.
Yeah.
They are getting the funding.
Yeah.
How do we begin to reverse that? Part of the reasons I'm saying this is that I've seen a lot of, and I know there are some examples we know as as individuals, and me myself, I've seen a lot of good ministries, good people who are passionate about the work of God, but somehow the funds just keeps going to
Hmm.
the wrong people. Um, so, how do uh, people now begin to address that? How do we address that in order to ensure that the flow is a bit more fair?
Well, the thing is, it's in two ways. If you want to preach the truth, many people in the church will not support you because the church has a conventional pattern of message and you must preach it that way. If you have a slight different from that particular message that the church is accustomed to, you can be sure that they are not going to support whatever you're doing. Number two, people are no longer led by the spirit, they are led by what they see. I kept asking myself, what did Ruth see in Naomi? That she said, your people are going to be my people. Where you die, that's where I want to die. Where you go, that's where I want to go. This is a woman that have lost the husband, lost the two child, probably sold her property back home, and now she has to return back. One time I was talking to a young man. I said, if Elijah the Tishbite were to be in this generation, will you want him to be your mentor? With all the array of men of God that we have on earth today. Okay, let's even say if John the Baptist that we read so much in the Bible, where was his favorite place of staying? In the bush, in the desert, eating wild honey, eating honey and wearing wild coat of skin. So people today are not discerning. And there is what today people give to ministries because they want to be recognized and eventually have a relationship with big, big names, not with the big God. So
That's
it makes it very difficult for. Okay, I have a friend. I will tell this story. I think if he comes across this video, he's going to laugh. He said he didn't. He said he doesn't have a car. So anywhere they invite him to come to preach, the power of God will move, and so many things will happen to the people, and he will feel that God was in this place. But when he's leaving, because he didn't come with a car, the kind of money the host will give to him is very embarrassing if you want to talk about it. He said, okay, now another door open for him to come to another big place to come and preach. What did he do? He went to rent a car, rent a briefcase, rent security, went and rent Agbada. See, the church has lost the Holy Spirit. And an average person in the pew is not led by the Spirit. They are led by what they see. Anytime a Christian meet me and said, I was deceived by this man of God, I will tell him, I said, the problem is you, not with the man. Because there's no way any man of God have ever pointed gun at anybody. Or any man in the name of God have pointed gun at anybody say you must do this. They come with stories. And these are the stories that you people love to hear. This young man had to go and rent security. Even the security, they rented suit, black eyeglass and shoes, everything corporate. 4 of them plus him. When he was arriving the venue of the place of the program, 2 of the security rushed out of the car, went to call for the host and said, Papa is around. He changed his name, not Prophet, Papa. As the host was coming out, came out of the car with his briefcase, and then he carried his agbada like this. Entered inside, and everywhere was wild because of the security guys and the kind of vehicle he came with. That is where the church is. The supernatural is zero. There are so many people sick in the church. The testimonies we hear, during my grandmother's time, we went to church. There were no musicians who could sing with. They can do voice anyhow. No, those guys were using local equipment. They clap hands. And when somebody is sick, you see the elder stand and say the person must be healed. So the supernatural was a commonplace because anytime we are harvesting anything in the farm, my grandmama saw anytime we harvest some kind of extraordinary yam, maybe it overgrew in an amazing way, he said, that belongs to my pastor. So people in those days, they genuinely love God. But Christians today, they are not disciples, they are customers. There's something they are looking for from you. There are Christians, as I'm telling you now, they know how to take advantage of men of God. So instead of us having disciples who genuinely love God for God, not because of what God is going to do for them. I was in a church in Atlanta. They tell me I should come and collect offering. I say, I don't give offering today because I'm expecting harvest from God. I give it because I love to see the kingdom progress, and I don't care about the harvest. So that discernment is out of place. People are not led by the Spirit. They are led by connection. They are led by name. They are led by the cathedral. In fact, if somebody goes to a place where the people are only 6 and he experiences God, he will not want to make that place his permanent altar. He would rather go to a place where we meet 6,000, 7,000. He's
Yeah.
looking for a husband. He's looking for people that can give him contract. He's looking for some kind of connections. So the whole purpose of our spirituality is dissipating on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Church has become a place where you bring in customers, not disciples.
And that adds to the challenge. So how do people now go about it? Because like you have rightly said, and I like that line, that the church is, many people in the church now are customers, not disciples. So how do we begin to address that? I know you are coming on to that, but I just want to focus the answer on that because I'm sure a lot of people are waiting that.
The first way to address that is to kill the gospel of prosperity. Serving God is not transactional. You don't give to God because you want God to give you. The gospel of prosperity must be killed. If it's not killed, then there should be a balance to it. Then, secondly, we must return back. Now, the ministry of the teachers is needed more than that of the prophets. Let me tell you the truth. There are people now who go to a man, they will spend their money, travel for a mile, for distance to go and see a man. Why? They want to hear something about themselves. In fact, in Nigeria, they said, that man they see road. That's what they're looking for. That's because we've turned God into Father Christmas. This is how big my God is. He's going to supply your needs. He's going to give this to you. He's going to give this. There are Christians who have become spiritual slaves. They have 3 TVs in the house or 4 TVs. All of them are connected to prayers. Is it in the morning prayers or in the midnight prayer? Every channel they are there. What has happened to us is that this generation is raising babies, not disciples.
Mm,
That is a problem. So, number one, we have to take care of the gospel of prosperity. If we cannot balance it, kill it.
mm.
Because despite all the prayer we have been praying against death, are people not dying? Life will still happen.
Mm,
But when we began to connect these occurrences to God and connect it, I've seen a pastor here in America was collecting seed of $5,000 to heal cancer. That is not the power of God. That is not the power of God. That is not ministry.
yeah, so thank you
If you
very
have to
much.
go anywhere to feel
Yeah,
warm and give any seed for you, for your problem to be resolved, somebody is there in the pulpit as a merchandise, not as a servant of God. So we must kill the gospel of prosperity and then we must return back to discipleship
yeah.
because that is what the church no longer have. There are
Oh,
people who stay in your church for 3 months or 6 months. If they did not see the miracle, they are moving to the next church. What are we doing? Is that church growth or church migration?
okay, sir. So let me just pause here. You've given us a lot of food for thought. So there are a lot of people, there are a lot of comments here saying, you are right, sir. The man's doing, egbagelism. There's right word. Customers, not members. Customers, not disciples. Yes, kill the gospel of prosperity. Beautifully said. But I also want to ask Pastor Dorcas as well, because we're thinking about how we can balance the people who really have this. I know there's a few people here who are thinking about, I have my ministry, I understand all these challenges, and I'm getting more insight here, which is why a lot of people are still listening in. And Apostle will still come back to you because this what you're saying is very, very, very relevant. But I just want to ask a question around the small time ministry, the person who has a passion to sing songs, to do things for God, to preach, to maybe give food, to help people, and things like that. How can they, you know, come out from all this noise? Because what we've been saying as well is that a lot of people don't give until because they are customers. They need to give into something that will benefit them. Is transactional spiritualism. How do people who don't have all those gadgets set up, how do they now, cope with all this that is happening? Mm,
Thank you. I think when the apostle was speaking, one thing that came to my mind was that these customers that we are having, you only have customer when you're a business. So somebody already set up a business. That's why we have customers. I think genuinely people need to be genuine to their calling. So let's ignore the wrong ones now. Let's focus on people who are genuine, people who have the ministry, people who know what they are doing, but they are struggling because maybe there's no funding, there's no resources. I think the first step, based on what we have seen that actually works, is that everybody can start small. Everybody can do. I think sometimes ago, my husband used to go to the city center and he would gather some homeless people because we don't have money, we don't have accommodation for them. We gather them and take them to McDonald's, and he would just sit around the table with them. And homeless people look dirty, right? They look dirty, they look unkept, they look smelly and everything. But you will still go and gather them. People will be like, why are you bringing them here? But they are human beings. And gradually, like that, what I noticed was that I was able to make friends with some of them, and they were able to open up to him, and so on and so forth. So whatever this our calling is, I've said this, I think me and you discussed it before, that When God calls you, let's be honest, he has a purpose for that calling. And God is not a beggar either. He has the resources. But the only thing is that you that is called, are you connected to God? Are you connected to that source? Because it will guide us, it will order our steps, it will surround us with the right people. So for me, the only thing I can say is that if we too we are true to our calling, let's be genuine. Let's start small as well. And then let's begin to pray that God will connect us to those right people. Because sometimes we too, as ministry, we might have an eye on somebody that, oh, this is the person that could help me. Maybe because the person drive big car or the person work in a larger place. If that is not part of your ministry, they will come and waste your time and they will come and lord it over you. But when we take it small and we are praying and people are seeing the impact one day at a time, and we have the Holy Spirit in us, He's not called you to punish us. The Bible says he will not owe any man anything. He has not called the children of Israel to serve him in vain. So we should stop comparing ourselves as well to all the bigger ones or the ones that have failed or the way somebody is doing their own. When God called you, when you have that leading, what has God given into your hand? What did he ask you to do? Who are the people he sent you to? Because in obedience, for me, 100% obedience is the first thing to do. When you obey, God will begin to open those doors to you. He's not promised that there won't be suffering on the way. He has not promised that it's bread and butter all along, because I think that's where people are missing it. You think, oh, everything has to be rosy. I want to wear suits like apostle. I want to drive G-Wagon like that and that. But people need to start small, take a step of obedience and keep going. And then God will send the right people your way. It might not be immediately, but as long as you are in connection with the one that has called you, something will start to happen.
Yeah. So I want to thank you very much, Ma. I want to throw a few things as well, and I'll open it up to you and Apostle to respond. One of the things I have found is that a lot of people need to step up, because one thing I've started finding is that people don't fund need; they like to fund the vision. Many people will come with the need and not their vision, not this is what I want to achieve. And when people see needs, they just feel that, this thing is going to continue forever. Let me not start what I cannot finish. And for me as well, there is the third one I'll mention. And for me, that is one that really touches me every time. Then the other thing for me is about being creative with income streams. There's a group of people that just believe, they don't read the part about Paul making tents. They just believe that because they heard a voice that, that means technically everybody now needs to fund their lifestyle for the rest of time without making that impact. And the third thing for me as well is that there are a lot of people who say, oh, I need this, but they are not collaborating with anybody. They are not doing anything for anybody. I know I will mention the name of the person, but Apostle knows him as well. He wants to, he's always coming with needs, but he's not doing any collaboration. He's not doing any support. And so as a young or as a minister, I think those three things and what Amom said, they're so vital, because if you are not supporting or doing something to help others and for everything has to be about you, I think you would have to walk a long journey alone. And the part about creativity, and so those are my own points. Just want to throw it out there. Apostle, I want to ask you that question as well, that what do you think has, in your experience, been holding people back? I know you've mentioned one point about the Ministry of Prosperity. So do you want to continue with that, or do you want to just hammer on, for people who are just starting ministry, people who are small, people who have like a ministry, music or something, what do you see has been holding them back from getting what they need?
Okay, number one, When you want to become a doctor, what do you do?
You go to medical school.
When you want to become a lawyer, what do you do?
Law school. Yeah.
And even after you've gotten the law degree and all those things, you look for a chamber to work with. It is only in Christianity people will sleep and have a dream that they lay hands on somebody and headache left, and they are qualified to stand on their own. That's why we're having a lot of casualty. What I want to talk about is spiritual apprenticeship, where you look for a ministry and hide under, because it is not easy to carry this work alone. I had a man of God say a statement I will never forget. And that statement is not biblical, neither is it scriptural, but it's technically correct. He said when God wants to punish a disobedient servant, he gives him a vision that is bigger than him. He asks him to go and start a church. And he was quoting in the issue of Balaam. When Balaam has gotten a vision, don't go, he went. At the end of the day, he could not really do anything. But what I'm trying to say is, God has given you a work. Were you patient enough to find out how he wants you to commence the work? Because it is not enough to go to Egypt. You must ask for tools. You are sending me to go to Pharaoh to go and say, leave my people. How? How will he know you sent me? So there are tools. And so when you receive a lot of confirmation for ministry, no man should be able to lay hands on you and just push you through that into ministry. Nobody should call you into ministry. If you are convinced of a call, it means you are beginning to learn. Go and get yourself a study of understanding biblical doctrine. Start somewhere that you can learn first. You need wisdom. After you've gotten that wisdom, look for somewhere to serve. Serving with another man will give you serving with another man will give you, you will see what you are doing under another man if you are even empowered enough to stand alone. So there are a lot of young people going into ministry. You are going into suffering, and you are not suffering impatiently. You are suffering foolishly. Because that is not what you are supposed to do. There are a lot of ministries that people are receiving these days. You can fulfill that ministry under an established ministry. But a lot of people, they just want to be on their own. They want to be the general overseer, even when they are not overseeing anything. That's a problem. An average young man today or young woman today floating a ministry doesn't have a degree in biblical studies. If you go and check his relationship with mentor, with other people in ministry, you will see that it's either he went to somewhere and caused trouble, got offended, and then now he wants to start. So spiritually, see, spiritual things are not handled in a hurry. Even when God says go, it means you should wait. And then get clarity. The issue of John the Baptist, the Bible said he was in the desert until the day of him appearing and showing for himself.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people going into ministry. They don't understand spiritual protocol. They don't understand patience. Some of them, they got offended at the existing ministry, and that is enough reason for them to stand on there. That's why there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of young people that are being buried because they are carrying a burden that they don't understand how and where it came from. So if you're a young person in ministry, listen to me. I want to tell you three things now that are very important. If you've received a vision, if you've received a mandate, like the woman of God said, starting small is good. But why not start small with somebody? Look for somebody there is always somebody that looks like the future you are envying or you want to become. Go and serve. Elijah told Elisha, if you see me go up, the mantle will fall. Many young people are leaving their masters without receiving the mantle. And I don't mean to bring spiritual complication here.
Yeah.
What I mean with mantle is look at that scripture. There's a lot of lesson to learn from these scriptures.
Yeah.
Elisha started following Elijah, and if you look at the comparison, if you compare the both of them, Elisha was more older than Elijah. But what was he doing? He was pouring water on the hands of Elijah, and you know what that means. And then when it was time, Elijah said, "I'm going." Fine, let's go. They started Gilgal first, Bethel, Jericho, Jordan. Some young people would have turned away. I know a lot of young people who turn away from their masters. One of them called me 3 months ago. He started with me, was serving under me, but we hit the wall. There was no way of going back or going forward. And he returned back and left me. And that day I learned a very tough lesson in my life that every man can stand on the ground, but it takes courage to stand alone. The same young man, after 15 years, he called me back and said, if I knew, I wouldn't have left at that time. So if God is calling you to give you a work, there is nothing you are coming to do in ministry that is new.
Yeah.
You are still going to start with opening prayer. You are still going to call people for worship service. You are still going to call for testimony. You are still going to call for word. So be patient. Go under somebody and grow your muscle before you
Yeah.
declare to stand alone.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Apostle. Because of time, I think if we can accelerate the other 2 points, so that
Which other one?
you started that there are three things you want people to note.
Fine.
People who are just coming up. Yeah.
The first one, get a study to understand the Bible. Number one. Then number two, after you've studied that Bible and you are convinced that you understand what you'll be telling the people, because the pulpit is very powerful. The second thing is spiritual apprenticeship. Go under somebody and serve. Serve that person until that person releases you with a blessing. You don't have to cause trouble because you want to leave. No. Serve, and then when it's time, you tell the person, said, I am led. This is what the Lord has been laying my heart to go. The person will pray for you. Spiritual apprenticeship. And then the third thing that you have to do before you even start, get a job. Because every work starting, it is your sweat. People will only come to support the work when you've paid enough sacrifice to
Yeah.
make it visible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get a job. Don't go into ministry. The money you should have used to invest into ministry, getting a space, go and establish yourself economically.
That's so true. No, thank you. Hope everyone's benefiting from this session. I wish we had more time, but we
Yeah.
have less than about 7 minutes to go. So just want to get your views, Ma, in terms of the last three things you would want people not to forget from this session. Three things that you want people to, hold with both hands and run with.
I think I like people to go and reflect about the customer and business thing as well, because the truth of the matter is that even you that you are starting ministry, are you really a child of God? Are you really connected to God? Because we most time make it sound like God is just drop us in the middle of it and he left. That's not correct. We have to be connected to the source. Is the source of everything. And the second thing, I will also borrow from what Apostle just said in the last one, that go and establish yourself economically, and also be appreciative of the little that people do for you. I think some people take it as like automatic rights that people have to come and support me. Like if you have a sister or brother or somebody and you are doing ministry, you automatically believe that they have to come and support you. No, it doesn't work like that. So we need to be connected. We need to start, pay the sacrifice as well, and don't waste resources. The little you have, don't waste it, and also be appreciative. Let's be grateful when people do small things, because it's not only about money as well. It's not only about money, it's about our attitude, it's about the support, it's about the people, the network around us. Let's show that godly character. Because at the end of the day, the kingdom or the ministry we are talking about, who is it for? Is it for you or is it for God? So let's be responsible Christians and let's respect God in everything that we do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Matt. Thank you for coming. Apostle, as well, in 2 minutes, 3 things you want people not to forget from this session.
Now, it is a beautiful thing to be called to serve humanity. It has a lot of rewards, beautiful rewards. If you are sincere about your calling, it will stand the test of time. Don't come into ministry because you had a dream. Don't come into ministry because someone encouraged you and said, oh, there is a call of God. No. Because you are going to meet things along the highway of ministry that it takes the conviction of vision to stand the test of time. So you have to be sure of the calling. Number 2, there are a lot of books to read. You may not have money to acquire a biblical degree, but there are a lot of materials available online that you can read. There are a lot of free Bible schools online that you enroll yourself. But do never be in a hurry to accomplish a spiritual assignment. It's a mistake. You are the one in a hurry. God is not in a hurry. Once you are sure of the calling, empower yourself for the calling. Polish yourself through materials. And then the final thing is never rise in ministry through the pain of another man. Oh, man. Anywhere you go to serve, no matter the issues you have, then make sure you lock that door peacefully. Because one day, the reality of ministry will demand reference from that particular door you lock roughly. So be sure of your calling. Polish yourself and prepare yourself. And then go for spiritual apprenticeship. Serve until you are released, blessed. So that by the time you go and you have issues, you can always run back and say, how did you solve this issue? There are so many things you are going to meet in ministry. 40 days fasting and prayer will not solve it. Even if you sleep in the mountain for 5 years, it won't solve it. But one sentence. One sentence, there are people I call, after I talk to them, they say, I don't need to pray again.
Okay, thank you very much,
Man.
sir.
I have
Thank
to stop
you.
here.
Yeah, no, thank you. I wish we had more time, but we are really at the sort of at the
Let
finish
me
line.
pray. I have to pray now for 30 seconds.
Okay, wait,
Everyone
before you
on
pray,
this
sir.
call,
Before you pray, I want to, so let me conclude, then we'll end, with a word. So I want just everyone to, the 2 things I would leave is that please make sure you go back and watch this session from beginning to the end. There's so much nuggets in here that it would save you years and years of frustration. So please make sure you tune in and rewatch it. That's my first thing. Then number 2 is that if God has given you a vision, he would give you the provision, but that provision requires you to do some of the things mentioned here, which the only thing I'll emphasize on is you need wise counsel. Wise counsel. If you're struggling, if you have a challenge, seek wise counsel. Don't seek people who will tell you what you want to hear. Don't seek people who will bias. Seek people who will give you wise counsel, and God will help us in Jesus' name. So, so thank you, everyone. Next week we will continue with another session. And next week, we have a very interesting topic as well. If anybody still has questions about this week's one, make sure you reach out. But next week, we will be going deeper. And the topic for next week is how to make every day count for God. Let's not miss it. So thank you, everyone. Over to you, Apostle. We have just 30 seconds of prayer. 30 seconds just to wrap it up.
One of the burden of a true visionary is when you don't have clarity on what to do. I'm speaking to everyone connecting here right now. When we talk about ministry, we are not talking about just pulpit and the Bible. No. Ministry can be tailoring. Ministry, the doctor in the hospital is also a minister. Whatsoever you do that is enhancing humanity and improving the earth is ministry. I pray, may you receive clarity to function in the capacity or whatever capacity that God has given you. And to all of you listening to this broadcast right now, I want to assure you that there is nothing you are ever going to come through, or there's nothing that's ever going to come across you that somebody else has not overcome. May you receive the wisdom and knowledge you need to overcome whatever is the challenge before you. These I ask in the name and nature of the Christ. Amen.
Amen. So thank you, everyone. Have a great week. And remember, watch this again. God bless you all. Have a wonderful.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Apostle. Thank you,
Man
Pastor.
of God, thank you. Thank you,
God
woman of
bless
God.
you all.
Bye.
Thank you all. Thank you, everyone.
And you will never ever change. You are the Lord. You remain the same. It's a simple chorus. You will never ever change. You are the Lord. You remain the same. Help me sing. You will never, 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 never. You are the Lord. Let your name be glorified. Oh, you will never, 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 never.